Hello and welcome, Awesome Bros. This week, Beer 101, the show where we tell you everything we know about beer. And this week, Chris?
The famous IPA.
The infamous IPAs, the IPAs. So,
What is it, Max? What is it?
we'll start with a little history, okay?
Okay,
So,
yeah,
the IPA originated from Great Britain. If you didn't know, Great Britain was the biggest empire we've ever seen on the planet. They went from Asia to North America to South America to India to Africa. They were everywhere, okay? They had territories on the whole globe, which meant that they had to supply all those territories, all those places.
Yes. Supply with what?
Well, supply with beer.
Oh.
Now, some places like North America, they could basically just send the grain, the hops, and have them brew it because the temperatures were cool enough for them to do that. But then it came to India, which India Pale Ale. India, a little too warm. They couldn't properly brew the beer, so they had to ship it. But the shipment would take up to 6 months, which would spoil the beer.
Yeah, of course.
Yes.
Of course, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
So they came up with a new kind of beer, the October Ale, developed by George Hudson, who created that beer initially, which was high in alcohol, high in hops, which is natural preservatives for the beer, and it would age well. So it was actually better after the 6 months journey that it was initially when they created it.
Okay, that's logic, right?
Yeah, logical.
Okay,
so
right.
the beer would get there, it wouldn't be spoiled, everything was good, everything was happy. But then in Great Britain, people started to imitate the beer.
Oh.
And then another brewery started. Well, it was, let me check my notes. It's the Burton on Trent brewery, who actually created the standard at the time for the beer.
Okay, perfect.
Now, problems arose. This beer was not very popular in Europe because it was a little too bitter. Like, even today, Europeans don't like necessarily the very, very hoppy beers.
Yes.
So as soon as the refrigerators was invented and that people could ship beer cool, it kind of died down.
Okay.
Until it came back in the
came back
States in 1976.
Oh.
So, Chris, talk
Yes.
to us about the beer.
Exactly. So, what's an IPA? Max basically already told you guys about it.
Well, the history behind it, not
Exactly.
necessarily
Yeah, but it explains a little bit why it tastes like that, where it comes from, where it basically comes. History tells you a lot about the beer. Because you put more hops in it to create conservatives in the beer to keep it better for a longer time. So what does that mean is that every hops has a specific amount of alpha acids.
Oh,
yes.
You're getting all science on us. Okay.
So alpha acids come from straight up in the fruit of the hop thing. The yellow thing in the middle, called lupulin. They all have a different amount of alpha acids. So it can range from, let's say, the Cascade hops from 4.5% to 8% alpha acid. So basically, you use the Cascade hop more for the flavoring side instead of the bittering side, because the alpha acids create the bitterness in your beer.
Oh, so some
Exactly.
hops are more predisposed for bitterness as others are more predisposed for the taste.
Yeah, exactly. So if we take in comparison the Chinook hop, this one has 12% to 14% alpha acid in this one. So it's a better bittering agent than the other ones. But they still have a lot of different flavors. So if you take hops from the West Coast, you get nice tropical flavors from them. You get pretty much the same flavors around the New Zealand hops. It's also a lot of peaches, grapefruit on this side. But if you go to the German hops like the Ellertau, and they got more piney, regular bitterness style. This is like the mainstream hop. It's not made for bitter beer. It's made just as bittering agent and able to get the most longevity out of your beer. Of course, this style really evolved over the years. That there's different interpretations. So the first one we know is the English IPA, which started off from, but the Americans really took this style on their own with the strong bittering, a lot of punchy flavors. So basically what Americans are doing is taking one style and putting it to an extreme. Then they know what it is.
That's why it's a lot more popular here than it is back in Europe.
Exactly.
It really appeared here.
That's where I'm going to, because there's an adaptation of the Belgian IPA too, because they started to play a little bit more with hops, but the Belgian IPA is a lot more high in alcohol and a lot lower in bitterness.
Yeah.
But it's still an IPA. So it's really, really special. But when you measure the bitterness in your IPA, we always talk about IBUs. which comes from the alpha acid that I talked to you a little bit earlier. All the beers, the whole range of beers, range from 5 IBUs to 120 IBUs.
Okay, so 120 is the max.
It's not really the max. Technically, there's a beer qualifying as a 1,000 IBUs.
Okay.
But I'm not sure how real it is.
Yeah. Well, plus, I mean, you got to the time of your boil and when you put the hops in and all that. So there's variations on it, I guess.
Yes. And just to give you a little example, today we're drinking one of our favorite IPAs found here in the Canadian market. It's the Le Castor Yakima IPA. It's really classic, really nice. It's right on the spot for the classic flavors. So piney, a little bit of fruitiness, not too much. Nice bitterness, a little bit of malt backbone, not too much. It's a great balance in this beer. But if we take a look at the, I've sorted out the top 5 rated beer IPAs from ratebeer.com. And surprisingly, there's one Canadian among the top 5.
Which one is it?
It's the Oval Nordet IPA, which is Oval, a brewery, furthermore in Gaspésie. So it's
far.
It's far. We've never been able to drink this one, but we look forward to it. But why are we drinking an IPA in these glasses? It's been developed by Dogfish Brewery in United States in collaboration with
Dogfish. Okay.
Yeah, exactly.
Nice.
So it's basically called the Dogfish IPA glass. That's the name for it.
But it's a Spiegel, right? Like that's the brand
It's in collaboration with Spilgo and also Sierra Nevada. It's another brewery in United States. So they created this glass to properly enjoy your IPAs and also create a nice, a fruity head on top. Traps the flavors in.
A little ridge, and then the shape kind of traps the aromas in as well.
And it's supposed to enhance the experience and create a superior mouthfeel.
I would say yes.
Yeah.
But it might be a gimmick. It really might be. I think the beer you enjoy is the beer you enjoy. Whether you have the right glass or not, you're still enjoying the beer.
Yeah.
So with this, maybe a better experience. But hell, if you don't have it, drink it in any glass you have.
Yeah, exactly. But I'm going to say, if you have a Spilgo Dogfish IPA glass, try it. It's really nice. It really creates a whole different experience. So basically, if you've never tried an IPA, go ahead, take a sip. Like the style ranges from Black IPA to Northeastern IPA, West Coast IPA, Eastern IPA, Red IPA. There's like
American, English, European. It's everywhere.
There's like endless possibilities of IPAs, and you get tropical fruit, peaches, mangoes, piney flavors. Like it can get a little bit crazy, but it's one of our favorite styles. As a hotbed, it's one of my favorite styles. So I think that pretty much wraps up what's an IPA. Yeah. We went really deep on this one.
I think we did. So let us know if you enjoyed the information, if it actually helped you. If not,
if
where
you have
could we
things to add to this,
if we could add
just
anything,
put it down in the comments, and we'll make sure to post about it and talk about it in our next video.
It's definitely not the last time we talk about IPAs.
No,
definitely not.
Definitely not. But let us know also what the next style of beer you want us to explain to you guys,
or what other aspect of beer that you'd like to know.
Yeah, could be hops, yeast, or malts.
Yeah,
maybe
or everything.
Yeah, maybe everything.
So, but if it's everything, it might be separated in multiple episodes.
Yeah, maybe.
Anyways, cheers to you.
Cheers.
Cheers to you.
And see you in the next video, right?
Yeah. Well, we won't see you. You'll see us.
Yes.
It's very important to know this. We can't see you. We really can't. Okay.